Okay, so here I am today, and basically just going to do a little reading. I was doing some housework and listening to some stuff, and I said, okay, I think I need to just take a break from so much stuff that's going on, and just, so I turned off all the sounds, and then I said, let's go ahead and do a little reading. And this is the Think and Grow Rich book. Let's see if that, okay. So what I've kind of been trying to do is just pick the book up and just open. And today I said that I was going to read a chapter, but I'm not exactly sure if I'll read the full chapter. But interestingly enough, so I opened up, and the first thing that wound up happening is I got to this chapter, where I opened up to was auto-suggestion, actually. So I read the first sentence, literally just one sentence, and then I did, my timer went off, so I'm making some tea. Anyways, so here we go. What I'm going to do is just going to go ahead and just read this chapter, and maybe I'll talk about what I think. It might just be a couple pages too. So, okay, so chapter 4, autosuggestion, the medium for influencing the subconscious mind, the third step toward riches. Autosuggestion is a term which applies to all suggestions and all self-administered stimuli which reach one's mind through the five senses. Stated in another way, autosuggestion is self-suggestion. It is the agency of communication between that part of the mind where conscious thought takes place and that which serves as the seat of action for the subconscious mind. Okay, so it is the agency of communication between that part of the mind where conscious thought takes place and that which serves as the seat of action for the subconscious. Okay, so autosuggestion is the agency of communication between that part of the mind where conscious thought takes place and that which serves as the seat of action for the subconscious mind. What does that mean? The seat of action. Okay, that's paragraph 1. Take a little sip of some water here. Okay, so that's crazy, actually. Through the dominating thoughts which one permits to remain in the conscious mind, whether these thoughts be negative or positive is immaterial. The principle of autosuggestion voluntarily reaches the subconscious mind and influences it with these thoughts. Okay, so through the dominating thoughts which one permits to remain. Permits to remain means like permitting, like you're continuing to think about it. Okay, so which one permits to remain in the conscious mind negative or positive, the principle of autosuggestion voluntarily reaches the subconscious mind and influences it with these thoughts. Okay. And influences it with these thoughts. Influences it. The seed of action. Okay. No thought, whether it be negative or positive, can enter the subconscious mind without the aid of the principle of autosuggestion. Okay, so you can have thoughts that are not autosuggestions. Okay, so can enter the subconscious mind without the aid of the principle of autosuggestion. So you have to use autosuggestion to be able to influence the subconscious mind. Okay. With the exception of thoughts picked up from the ether. What? Stated differently, all sense impressions. Okay, stated differently, all sense impressions which are perceived through the five senses are stopped. Okay, stated differently, all sense impressions, okay, stated differently, all sense impressions which are perceived through the five senses are stopped by the conscious thinking mind and may either be passed on to the subconscious mind or rejected at will. The conscious faculty serves, therefore, as an outer guard to the approach of the subconscious. Oh, wow. Okay. So, stated differently, okay, I'm going to read the whole paragraph. No thought, whether it be negative or positive, can enter the subconscious mind without the aid of the principle of autosuggestion, with the exception of thoughts picked up from the ether. Stated differently, all sense impressions which are perceived through the five senses are stopped by the conscious thinking mind. And may either be passed on to the subconscious mind or rejected at will. The conscious faculty serves, therefore, as an outer guard to the approach of the subconscious. Okay. Seat of action. Okay, so nature has so built man that he has absolute control of the material which reaches his subconscious mind through his five senses. Although this is not meant to be construed as a statement that man always exercises this control. Yeah, that makes sense. In the great majority of instances, he does not exercise it, which explains why so many people go through life in poverty. Okay, so one more paragraph here. Okay, recall what has been said about the subconscious mind, resembling a fertile garden spot, in which weeds will grow in abundance if the seeds of more desirable crops are not sown therein. Autosuggestion is the agency of control through which an individual may voluntarily feed his subconscious mind on thoughts of a creative nature, or by neglect permit thoughts of a destructive nature to find their way into this rich garden of the mind. Wow. And that voluntarily feed. Okay, so I'm gonna call it right there for right now. I've got some tea. 10 minutes already. Wow. So that was just, what did I read? I think I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs of one chapter. I didn't even turn the page. Holy. So I need to think about that. That's pretty interesting. So it seems like just more on the crazy thing is I've listened to the audiobook before, so that's not the first time that I read that, but I really had to think about what I was reading there. So that process just right there was way different than an audiobook for me. Wow. So anyways, as far as a recap on what that means that I just read, I don't really know. Right now it just seems to be aware of the things that you're thinking, and if you're thinking thoughts that are weeds, then you're going to wind up with weeds in your garden. So being aware of the thoughts that I'm thinking, man, I kind of want to revisit through the dominating thoughts which one permits to remain in the conscious mind. The principle of autosuggestion voluntarily reaches the subconscious mind and influences it with these thoughts. Okay, that seems to be the key thing here. Through the dominating thoughts, which one permits to remain in the conscious mind. And then it said over here, it says, all sense impressions which are perceived through the five senses are stopped by the conscious mind and may either be passed on to the subconscious mind or rejected at will. Okay, so they are stopped by the conscious thinking mind. All sense impressions which are perceived through the five senses are stopped by the conscious thinking mind and may either be passed on to the subconscious mind or rejected. And then we read, through the dominating thoughts which one permits to remain in the conscious mind, positive or negative, the principle of autosuggestion voluntarily reaches the subconscious mind and influences it with these thoughts. And then it says over here, the conscious faculty serves therefore as an outer guard to the approach of the subconscious. Okay, so I mean, I think that of course there's subliminal messaging, which is a whole thing, but this is talking about the conscious thoughts and, you know, passing them on to the subconscious mind or rejecting them. So that is just super fascinating. And that's kind of, I mean, I could probably say that it would be interesting any chapter that I opened up to, but that was a very interesting chapter to open up to today. It was the first time doing that, actually, and with the pen and kind of underlining stuff too. So anyways, man, that was very interesting, and I'm going to go ahead and just try to think about that more. So there we go. That was just a 5 paragraphs reading from Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. And now I got to think about what I just read.